Okay, let's try this. Sound check? There we go. Now I can hear myself. So, I hope everything is going well for everyone. I am just trying to get my act together. So it's been a hot minute again. Still trying to figure out the best schedule for everything, but right now I'm going to try this. Right. I am having a whole deal. I swear. The dogs all want attention. This is Mochi. I'm sure you guys all remember Mochi. What am I doing today? I am doing character creation today. So yeah, it's time to look at some of the characters and how they're created or what I want to do to create them. And I wanted to try a couple methods out, so I thought I would try that with a character that I know particularly well, but haven't really done character creation with. So let's see here. I am trying to get things connected here. Oh gosh, I swear. I can't find you. Yes, I can find you. There's a couple I want to try, and what I don't like. Okay, I think this will work. I'm trying. I am trying, I promise. Okay. Which one do I want to use? So I wanted to try two things. I want to do a character that I knew pretty well. Hi, Mimic Renato. Thanks. I like my glasses too. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining. Let's see. So what did I want to try? I wanted to try doing an Enneagram test. And there was actually a book I was using. There's plenty of tests online, of course, but I was finding actually a specific book that deals with history, and I cannot find the book for the life of me yet. In this unpacking mess that I live in currently, I yet to find quite a few things, but I'm getting there slowly, slowly unpacking. But that's what I'm gonna try today, and we're gonna let's see, where do I want to put this information? Because I think we're just going to get a good old-fashioned Word doc right now for what we're doing. So I'm going to set things up. Let's see, you're responsive. Good job, website. So let me get the screen here. Sorry, my mic. I still have not got the best position because my second monitor's over here, but that's also where my mic is. So still working all of that out. So we're going to start the Enneagram test. The other thing that I want to try is I've had this for quite a while. I've never gotten to play it, unfortunately. RyuuTama is this Japanese kind of mythology-based little cute animals. But I actually wanted to try the magic, like setting up like a calendar in this, because interestingly enough, one of the reasons that drew me to this is kind of the way it thinks of things is kind of some of the ways that I kind of approached world building. And I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but there'll be a couple things that we'll try today. So we're going to look at Can. So if we're working on this first book here, Can is the main antagonist of the story, or at least through as things progress, she becomes the main antagonist. She starts out as a protagonist, but becomes the main antagonist. But I wanted to talk about her. We're going to start with the Enneagram. So what I know about her, the way I've approached character creation, and I've tried a few ways. I've tried, let's try a gaming character creation. That's we're going to try it again, but like a D&D style. I've tried just filling out sheets and everything like that, but I can never fill out like all the sheets. Like I don't care what kind of toast she likes or how she puts on her shoes in the morning. I don't think knowing all of those things about your character always matters, but there's certain things about their personality and how they would deal with situations that matters more. Where those physical idiosyncrasies could, that word, those physical attributes may mean something in the course of your story, but maybe not as much as the psychological aspects, but they can. I mean, obviously, if your character only puts your shoes on a very certain way and never any other way, when suddenly they're in a hurry or things are going to get bad, it's going to tear them apart to not get their shoes on right. But I think those things come out. So like a lot of, like I've talked about before, how a lot of these outlining methods will say okay, create your characters first, and some have big elaborate sheets. Some say just write everything down that you know. And there's tons of writers' character sheets out there, but some of them have motivations and stuff like that. But one of the things I've struggled with is Can's motivation. Everyone's like, well, what's the motivation character? Her motivation is to escape her family home. She's not wanted there to begin with. She doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't know a lot about the world. She's fairly uneducated as it comes. She is technically a farm girl, but in the sense that she came from the ruling family. So when it says that she comes from Meepy Farm, she comes from the ruling family. She's not out there working the fields, not even slightly. She's not out there, doing anything. She's basically barely privileged, and unfortunately, that privilege is getting her in more and more trouble as she is not fitting into the role she should play as the granddaughter of the patriarch of the farm, and that becomes a problem. Mochi's trying to sniff my microphone, so if you hear the sniffing noises, that would be Mochi. So we're going to start with this test. So before I do anything, what do I know about her? Can has brown hair, brown eyes. And these are the details that come up in the story. So brown hair, brown eyes. She's Kind of a middle height. She is a powerful dreamer. Which, of course, translates to nightmare in my world, if you come to some of my other things. Yeah, the want-need method is interesting in itself. I'm kind of really trying to drill down on, like, if we think about want needs for Can, well, I guess we'll start there. If we, yeah, whether or not they know him or not, right? So, what does she want in life? If we go very simply, want to find a place she belongs. She doesn't belong at home. When her grandfather dies, her last kind of protection is gone, and knowing that she's someone who isn't always making the right steps, who doesn't always make the right decisions, and her decisions have consequences. She has these powers, and she can decide to do anything she wants, but it could hurt people if she makes the wrong decision. Um, and her grandfather kind of protected her. So when he dies and her cousin accedes to the patriarchy, um, as patriarch as the farm, from the farm, you know, he's not willing to protect her. He has a young wife, he has a child on the way, he has a farm to take care of, and dealing with her is just too much. So having her leave becomes the best bet. And so she wants to find a place. She's been given a direction. So go here. There's people like you there. Go there. And that's all we care about at this point. Like, now there are some other motivations that come out of that from her being told that come out later in the story, but that's what she wants. What she needs, if we even start there. She needs discipline, and she needs understanding. And these are two things she hasn't really had. But we'll start there. I think it's an interesting way to kind of go about those. So let's see. Let's start with the Enneagram tests I have up here. So it's a rating system. You go 1 to green, you're assigned a number, or you might be assigned a sub number. And this is supposed to tell you everything about your life. It comes out of a bunch of different schools of psychology centering in Germany, I think, in the 1800s. Maybe slightly earlier, I forget now from all the history I read on this a while back. I am not a huge believer in one thing tells you everything about your life, and then that's it. But I think this is a good place to start, and I know a few other writers suggested this to me. So, is Can a perfectionist? She would disagree. She just wants things to work. My relationships with others, what my life is about. Say middling. I put work first. We're going to agree. She likes to get her work done. If she's set a task, she does try to complete it. I daydream about being in love. No, she doesn't. She wants to belong. She wants friends. She wants people she can be with, but she's not looking for love. I have a hard time showing emotions. I'm going to agree with that. She has kind of this emotional wall, which is something I've had a hard time writing about her. Fear of being taken advantage of keeps you from being more trusting. We're going to agree with that. I must always be having new experiences. Not necessarily. I naturally emerge as a leader. She does not naturally emerge as a leader, and that's an issue for later too. When other people are arguing, I leave the room. No, no. I strive for efficiency. Oh, I will say a little bit. I have difficulty saying no sometimes. I like to stand out. She does not. She stand out a lot of her life, and she's not received good attention for it. I really enjoy feeling bittersweet. No, she's looking for that serotonin boost. She doesn't want that weird middling feeling. I spend hours alone with my hobbies. No, she does not. This is like not me at all. So it's hard. It's like, me, yes, I too. I get input from others before I make a decision. She's supposed to, and she tries sometimes, but she's not very good at it. I can keep a conversation going with anyone about anything. She can. She passes. Masks. I like conversation where no one agrees. Um, she's not really here or there about that. I keep my thoughts to myself to prevent trouble. Agree. I often have to redo other people's work. No. I get lots of satisfaction from helping others achieve their goals. Agree. She wants to belong, so she's going to try to help people. It's good to wake up feeling to a full day. I cry. She does. I spend most of my time trying to understand things. It's true. I conform. I am uninhibited. I want people to tell me the truth and not spare my feelings. I am accepting and flexible. She tries to be. I keep my belongings in order. Agree. I put family first. She doesn't, and that's part of the problem. Money is important to my happiness. No, she has money. It's not made her happy. I side with the rebels over the establishment. We're going to agree there. I like mental challenges. She agrees. We're going to say kinda. I try to break tension with a good joke. No. Agree? Kinda. I want to see what so she's a thinker. I would agree with that. People with the Enneagram Type 5 personality tend to be curious, independent, observant. They generally love to pursue knowledge and seek a deeper understanding of the world. So, I'm going to grab that. Sure. Let's see. I like this because it gives you the image with the. So we'll put that on her sheet. She's a thinker. I don't know what else this site gives. This is Crystal Knows. Seek knowledge and deeper understanding. I prefer spending time by themselves for fear of being useless and inadequate. Working family and doing basic desires, feeling useful, basic fears. These are all good things. I'm going to grab this. So how would I use this? Let's think about that. So they approach life in a serious manner, seeking knowledge and deeper understanding. She's trying to understand what she can do, why she can do it, and how she can use it for better. She spends time with herself. She's going to fear that. She's used to it. She doesn't want to be useless. She doesn't want to be ineffective. She's not given a lot of responsibilities except for how the family perceives her. She's not so great in public or talking to people, so when she fails at those things, it kind of feeds into that. She guards herself in her emotions. I'm curious about and observant in new environments. So she's going to try to dive in because she would want to be in a new. If she's in a new place, she would want people to accept her in that new place. So she works, analyzing data. I think I could use that. She wants to feel useful and confident. She wants intellectual exercise and problems. observe logic and pragmatism. So this is where some of her conflict comes in. I know, especially with that feeling useful and competent. If she doesn't feel useful, the problem is people don't know what to do with her. And suddenly she's kind of sidelined because, well, she's new. We don't know if we can trust her. She tends to do things off the cuff. And if you're sidelined, you're no longer useful. You tend to not feel competent because people, aren't using, not letting you use your abilities. Fears, irrational behaviors are ideas, overdependence on others, lack of knowledge about a situation, accuracy. So, that irrational behaviors are ideas, if that's what's getting her in trouble. She's told, fine, you can go help here. We want you to get this field cleared. Now, what they meant was you go to these people, you organize them, and help. They will clear the field. Your job is to organize, supervise. What she hears is this needs to be done. What she does is she sets fire to the field to kill it, to clear it, and in the process almost hurt someone. So it's that I need to do this. I need to be able to get this done. I need to show them I'm competent, not realizing that she has resources. And it's not that she doesn't know, it's that she isn't making that connection. So that weird behavior is what's getting her in trouble, at least at home. Or depends on others, since she's waiting for that validation. She tends to seem to depend too much on what others think before moving forward. Because she's been burned by doing her own thing, she overcompensates by not doing anything until she's told, and that is also a problem, even though she can work very well independently. I'm not going to create a crystal ball, though. So, basic results. I think that's good for what? If we curious, take it out on the top. We're going to put those 3 keywords here, so I have them for her. Say observant. Okay. So that's the Enneagram. It's actually just a really quick test. And while this just gives me some ideas of how she would act in certain situations or what she's looking for, I wouldn't say this is everything about her. Obviously, there's items that, like I said, talk about physicality, or even things like she doesn't like. It doesn't tell us that, maybe she likes this color, or this is how she likes to dress, or this is how she moves. Like, this doesn't tell us anything, but I'm not necessarily interested in that. For me, when I write those things in the story, like, that's when that will come up, and I need to, take note of them. But they have to be story related, because, and if I need to go back and edit the story to make it make more sense when she does something later, because I've decided, oh, well, she's going to make sure she closes her task in such a way, and that becomes important. Well, I need to build up to that and put those elements back in, but a lot of what a character is physically comes up. We're still going to talk about physicality here, so let me get the next part up, and that's this RyuuTama. So, sorry about RyuuTama a little bit. It's this spreadsheet, or it's this RPG game, this tabletop RPG, out of Japan. It's little animals. It's cute. It's nature based. There's this whole thing, but I never got to play it. Like I said, I picked it up a while ago. Didn't have any time, but probably a few months ago, I started flipping through it and going, wow, this really matches a lot of how I think about things. So wouldn't it be interesting to try new characters? So looking at the spring section here, which is character creation. And just to choose things. So it says to choose a class. It's normal. You choose what kind of class you want to be. They have suggestions in here for certain things. Since this is not a playable character, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I mean, I'm not going to be playing this in the game. Then you choose a type. There's an attack type, a technical type, or a magic type. Ability scores, points, personal items. Picnic type. So first is to pick a class. The classes in here, there's a minstrel. A minstrel is, let's see, here we go. They use it as an example and then they printed it. So a minstrel, a traveler among travelers who roams from town to town performing song or dances. That is not kind. In one iteration of this, I was going to make her a dancer, and I got rid of that idea. Yeah, I definitely skipped the non-essentials. Yeah, favorite things are good. Yeah, I mean, having those little things that you find out that they like and why and what what they would like to do, what they, you know, if, when they when they can express themselves in small little ways and aren't necessarily. Um, what's it? Seer Chingish? Oh, look, it's a chatbot. No, okay. Thanks, but no thanks. Advertisement. Let's see here. Sorry, I have to block the bot. Yeah. They don't come by often, but every once in a while. It reminds me of in online games, the real money transaction people. Um, yeah. So let's see. So she's not a minstrel. A merchant. Merchant is obviously someone who's selling something. A tradesperson. Whether they make it themselves or just buy and sell. She is not that. Hunter. An outdoors person. Nope. A healer. No. She is not a healer. She does not actually have the ability to heal. Farmer. Has a hardly bound in nature and read their harvest, has studied in order to task, and the patient with a single skill from another class. So farmer might be an interesting one for her. Artisan, someone who makes things. No. A noble. So this is another thing. She could technically be considered a noble in the area that she comes from. The patriarchies are the noble ruling class. But we could do that. At least in RyuuTama. I would consider even her, but they're not like nobles in the sense of riches, everything. Like, they live in farmhouses. They have people who work for them on land. It's it's their farm. You know, everyone who lives on their farm works for them. But I think that's it. So let's go with the farmer for her. So we're gonna say she's a farmer. And it says, if you're healthy, looks your body is sturdy, and you're in tune with natural wisdom, she is sturdy, naturally resistant to ill effects, and can carry more items. I don't care about more items. +1 to condition checks, +3 to carrying capacity. Okay, animal owner, how to raise animals, help carry your goods normally. You can take it on a journey for free without paying for daily food and water costs. That almost describes camp. She gets taken on a journey for free. That's not what that means. Sorry, I'm just thinking like you're an adventurer, and usually what happens, the big fantasy trope is they go on this journey. They're always taken on the journey for free. They want to go or not. It's funny. You can keep 2 or more animals. She doesn't have any animals. 3 without paying for their food and water. Side jobs. Or it can be tough without extra money in the off season. You've taken up another job on the side. When you choose a farm class, choose a single skill from another class that requires a skill check. Usable strength if it depends on the skill. Defense. So let's say we look at the noble class. That's artisan. Etiquette. She would have etiquette. She's not really educated for various reasons. Not in the way that you would consider like a formal education. So, or weapons grace. I would say etiquette. We could give her etiquette. And has to have a check, and that requires an etiquette check. So her side job is etiquette. Oh. Okay. So I'm not going to type in her class skills here while I'm thinking this out. This might just be a silly exercise. With at least this one. The Enneagram one at least gives me like some base like behavioral things. But I know, Quibble, it's okay. But yeah. So I guess the next is the type. So there's attack type, technical type, and magical type. So she would be a magic type. She's a dreamer, which are the mages in my world. So it gives her a max MP +4, a spell book. She don't need spell books, and acquires seasonal magic. May choose, let's see, acquiring incantation magic. Choose 2 spells from a low-level incantation. One of the 4 seasons. At the first level, the character may pass from the season's low. Okay. So I'm not worried about party rolls, traveling rolls. What are cost multipliers for cute, beautiful, sturdy? This is adorable. I don't think this is gonna work. I was like, I kind of looked through this and I was like, oh, I think I have one idea. This is just, there's a lot here that just doesn't matter, right? Like just what we were talking about. Just too many details. Traveling gear. Was I thinking of rain boots or walking shoes or climbing shoes? She probably have mud shoes. I imagine her in mud shoes. And a warm cape. She might have a walking stick. Woolen hat. Animal types, general items, alcohol. If drunk when a character's condition is 3 or less, gain muddled 4. Thank you. Healing herbs. I have a few of those in my world already, so I don't need to use those. Here's the magic. Another thing, when you think something might match what you think, and then it doesn't. Pure crystallite, pure touch, So general magic, and then you choose things. So it's like spring magic. So originally, when I originally was trying to divide the magic, this is when I first started it off, where each of the soul stones were akin to a season, and it still kind of sits in my mind, though it's not really correct. And hers was originally spring. So that's kind of where I'm getting this from. So in spring magic, wake up and stand up. Wake up spells covered with lots of tiny flowers. Cure plus plus. Little beauty. It fixes your hairstyle and color. Detect love heart. This is to find out if anyone's in love near you. Guy who is lately as a beams of light thick as my wheel shoot skewer the enemy. Ooh. I do have like a skewer magic like that, but that's not in this area. Not something Candace will have. She has a blasting magic. Rose fever scatter. I don't know if that makes people have allergic pollen. Luck spell. Cure plus XL. Sprout. That awakens people's power. Resurrection. Spring daybreak. To suddenly have a beautiful day in your heart. Huh. Well, these are cute, but no, probably don't really match either. And I think that's it for character creation. Let me see. Yeah. And then we start getting into rule sets. And then the dragons, which is in this game, the GM creates a dragon character based off of one of the seasons. And they're actually playing that dragon character as this kind of benevolent god. They're not really benevolent gods, kind of in this world. We're flipping through this probably really loud on my mic. Well, that was cute, but totally not practical at all for what I want to do. So I'm just gonna close that out. Leave. I don't think that that's too helpful here. Let's see how we're doing on time. We got some time left. So, I think that this was helpful, and having some of this for some of my main characters is something that might be worth keeping track of. If we go look at what I do have for her character, so this is her here. She's 19. She's a soul shard, powerful dreamer. She grew up in the Algolian Plains, where Bastical Pomalia, when her cousin comes head of their farm. I should change that to matriarch, because that's his technical title. Of their farm, Mipri, he tells her she must leave. She's just working on the farm. She's become a burden on the family. Can't had opportunities, especially as a dreamer. She did. She had opportunities to become part of the guard for the Oglians, to become to work in various jobs. She had opportunities for marriage. She had opportunities to go for education, and she didn't. And it became part of the problem. And while her grandfather was willing to indulge in this, the rest were not. She strikes off with Forlorn, and that's where our story kind of begins. It's her arriving at Forlorn. Her dream fire is blue, and that's Can. That's usually what I have. So we look at some of my other characters here. That is Kedrick, who we talked about a little bit in my previous streams. He works at Forlorn. Modgebert grew up and works at Forlorn as well. Kedrick is also the son of the mayor of a city called Bastille. And then Tiff Leewood, she is a minor dreamer who comes from one of the small villages out of the forest, basically the shadow of the forest wall, and a family of zealots. So those are my four main characters. Why four instead of just one? Why? I don't know. You get told this a lot. Recently, I've seen a lot of advice saying just stick with one. That's all you need is one. Or if you're writing YA, have your love triangle. There's not going to be a love triangle. I was advised once to add a love triangle, and it just never goes well. It's not interesting, I don't think. And it's weird how we kind of settled into these formulaic things recently, where everything has to be a formula of some type. I was actually watching an older show, you know, early mid 90s fantasy show where two of the main characters are in love. They're in a long term relationship for a while. The third one comes in and he kind of moves in with them, and they could have certainly gone that that love triangle route with them, but they didn't. Not even slightly. Instead, he becomes like a really good friend, and by the second season of the show, he and the woman are really, really good friends. Like, if you want a good male-female platonic relationship, that was actually a really good one, and that was actually in the Highlander series, which doesn't always, it has some problematics to this day, but I was rewatching that for various reasons, and I was like, oh, wow. I don't think I really was old enough to appreciate that, but now I kind of do, and seeing that, like, Richie and Tess are really close friends by the second season. Um, and, love does not enter the equation as far as romantic love doesn't enter into that equation at all with them. But they share secrets, they talk about their problems. Um, he can hug her and it's not considered a threat or a challenge or anything like that. And I know some would say it would be because, well, he's weak. He could never compare to the Highlander. But it's not that. It's not portrayed as that at all. So I think that's always interesting. But anyway, I digress. Love triangles, man. I don't know. Does there always have to be a love triangle? So those are my main, and I kind of came in. Kadrick and Vestal started. Kadrick and Majbrit started as side characters, but we brought to the forefront as probably the two main protagonists. Tiff was a throwaway character originally, but I had the stuff about her fleshed out, and when I changed directions on the story, I needed another character who was an outsider to the situation, but was competent as far as being an adult came, and she fit that bill. So I ended up reworking her in, and these are the four that have to deal. There is romantic tension, as in Kadrick and Majbrit were once in a relationship, and they are not anymore. When the story starts, Majbrit is about to be married to another man, which Kadrick is not exactly happy with. He wishes her well, but he really realizes he kind of screwed up their relationship and is sad about it. But not enough to be an asshole. So, because they're still friends. And that's important as well. So, we got these adults who are basically about to move into the next phase of their lives, various stages, and then things don't go well. So, if I come back, I have the original version, which is long gone. I actually don't remember what versions I've had in here. I think that's when I started. And then this one is... Nope, that's the one I just opened. This is the old version, but this only has, like, the last old version that I was working on, and then I hit a wall because I was trying to do something that somebody asked me to do. And I went back and said, this is not working. And they said, oh, well, we didn't really mean it. The other way's better. So I have some things pull apart here. I do have... Oh, we're heading back to world building. I thought the character thing would take a little bit longer with the RyuuTama stuff, but that just turned out to be a waste. Well, next time. um, let's see. I finished going through all the short stories, so that was pretty good. So what do I have in old? Original. This is the first, because I wrote a whole first draft. I don't know where it is. Huh. Love Pentagons. The other four, and one of them is secretly married to someone outside the group. I don't think I've ever heard of a love pentagon. Huh. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's so one of them is in love with the other four, like all of the other four, and one of them is secretly married to someone outside of the group. Huh. That sounds like a mess, but I could see where that would work for certain situations. So, I had 14. Yeah, this looks like this was the whole last manuscript that I tried last draft. Sorry, I was just looking what I had in here. I don't know. Because these are pretty old, like the original way, and they just were not, it was just not great. What's really funny about this book, the first original version I wrote, it went through several drafts, and it's horrible. It's so bad. Might have made that up. It's okay. You know, you're allowed to make stuff up. We're writers. That's what we make up. We don't always have to use the same thing over and over again. But that's still pretty, I mean, even if you made it up, it's still like a crazy situation that you could work with. Um, but love Pentagons. That's, I don't know if I could write that, but that would still be pretty amazing, I think. I was talking about the original book, so it's bad. Oh, I trunked it for a while, knowing that I really wanted to tell this part of the story. But when I say I trunked it, that was after shopping it around. I had a bunch of full manuscript asks, and then it was just everything was kind of like I had people tell me, well, not right now, maybe next time, maybe your next one. I don't have time right now. And those are the kind of responses I got. And then HarperCollins, it was a finalist in the Harper Voyager contest that they run every once in a while. And it was really close. Like, they came back and said, well, we're really thinking about this one. And then they decided no. And so after all that, no one was really excited. I was like, I need to move on and write some other things. I've been writing some other stuff, but I wanted to kind of move on and write some other things. And I was working as a freelance writer at the time, um, as basically a technical writer. So my mind was on other things, so I decided to trunk it. And then when I came back, realizing I do want to tell this story, I read it. It was so bad. It's so bad. Oh my gosh, I can't believe anybody ever told me it was good. And I was like, why did no one tell me it was bad? uh, but anyway, so yeah. So I then reworked what the concept was. I had since written the first drafts of two other stories, two other novels in the series. Both are, which one is almost in final draft but needs some reworking, and one is still in first draft. And I came back to this and I was like, okay, I'll completely rework it. I completely reworked it, and I realized I didn't have enough story to tell. And I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a lot shorter. Like, what am I missing? So I decided to just write it out and see what I got. And I did. I wrote all the way to the end, and I took some shortcuts towards the end because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do there, and I just wrote it out. And I got down to the kernel of what I want it to be about. So what I want to do first, of course, is go through this old draft and say, what are the elements that I have to stick in my series Bible that I didn't do before? And I think this is like, yeah, the synopsis that I've written in some of the older stuff. Let's see. I'm just going to look here. So I have some stuff to pull out of Scrivener too, so that it's just cleaned up. No, I don't even know what that is. Oh, Atomic Scribbler. It's a writing program I tried for a while. It's kind of clicky. I don't like it. But I have some stuff to clean up and go through here in Worldling, so I'm going to start with that probably next time. Or I'll start with it before that, but I'll probably still be doing it on the next stream when we get there. Let's take a look. So that's the Atomic Scribbler file, and this is the Dreamfire. I wonder why I have... Because this is Dreamfire first draft. I just don't know where this came from. Docs, checksum. Because this looks like it has the entire manuscript in it. I have no idea what software this was from. I assume it was under some software. Who knows? But the Scrivener file, a lot of this got moved to a new computer, so it says 2020. Oh, that might be a Scrivener file. Huh. I don't know. But I want to clean up the Scrivener file so I can get that installed. Anyway, you know, Mimic Minato, thank you so much for joining me today. It was fun talking to stuff. I wish you luck on your love pentagons, and feel free to come back anytime. You want to look? Oh, that's great. Oh, a published ghostwriter? Oh, yeah, because they're... Oh, that sucks. I'm really sorry, Mimic, that happened. And that sucks. And it seemed weird to be working with a published ghostwriter. Like, I think now I would, if that age, I probably would have done the same thing. Now, when I hear working with a published ghostwriter, well, why do I need to work with a published ghostwriter? But yeah, oh, that sucks. You know. But, you know, hopefully you can write some more, and I'd love to hear about what you're writing and stuff. You know, feel free to come back. We're going to do this probably an hour later on Thursdays than what we did today. And then, of course, I have my gaming stream. For those of you who are watching this later on YouTube, of course, I have my semi-Saturday videos and this one. But thank you again for coming. It was enjoyable talking to you, Mimic, and, you know, I hope to see you again. And everyone else, I hope you all have a great